Is who or what inspired you to start like writing music and pursuing it?
Okay, so I've always been into music. I think I was always just very, it was weird. Like I always loved it, but I was very shy about ever singing in front of people. I never wanted to sing in front of people. I think like I Michael Jackson was always around the house. Like I always listened to Michael Jackson, and I think later in my life that was a huge inspiration. But honestly, um like I had an experience where I was just kind of like, I need to let this out. I've always been a writer in a sense,
Mhm.
and I never really pursued music. I remember I had like a music teacher, and for like a day, I only had him for like a day. He was like a piano teacher slash music. And then he asked me to sing in front of him. And he like laughed in my face. And I was like, I'm never doing this again. Like, I'm just not doing this. So I never sang or anything. And my sister always sang. So my sister has been like singing for a couple years now, like publicly and stuff like that. But I never really did that. But it wasn't until I was like super down and like very depressed that I was like, I need to get this out because I'm so like I'm huge on like creativity, but I just couldn't even like write it because I like to screenwrite, so I only write movies, right? So I was like, I don't want to write like a movie, like this is too much. So I was like, I went to a Broadway show and it was the MJ the musical, so it's like based on Michael Jackson's life.
Yeah.
And after that, I was like, I need to write a song. Like that's gonna be the only thing. And then that kind of led to me writing and like putting the song out and just like really stuff like that. But that was last year. So I haven't really ever sang in front of people or anything until last year.
That's super interesting, yeah. Um, what's the song that you've written that feels like it most represents who you are as a person?
Oh, okay. So I've written a couple things. The only thing I've ever put out, which is like the song that's out right now.
Mhm.
Um, but I have a lot of other songs for like a bigger project that I want to put out that I've like written. And I don't want to say the title because I feel like it's gonna give so much away. But um, the first song that I'll release after this song, which is Stuck in Motion, like the first song after this is the one that I feel most connected to. It's just the most vulnerable, and I don't know, it just like came about very quick. But Stuck in Motion, so the song that I have out right now is very simple. Like, but that also speaks a lot to me because it was very, although it's like super simple lyrics, it was a very vulnerable thing to be like, I'm gonna sit down and write something, even if nobody likes it, even if like I don't know, like maybe people might know who I'm talking about, just all those feelings. So every song maybe, but the one that I'm about to put out and the one that's already out.
It's awesome. And like to build on that, like what's like one surprising thing that you've learned about yourself, either through like songwriting or like the whole like musical journey and releasing music?
I think for like a period of my life in high school, I was, I don't know, I was like involved in a lot of different clubs and sports and stuff, but I never really allowed myself to do the arts. And that was something that I always loved growing up, but I almost wasn't like allowed to pursue the arts because I was involved in so many other things that a lot of people around me wanted me to be involved in. So it wasn't until I went to college last year and I was very just like I guess I'm an adult now, like I can go and pursue these things that I allowed myself that. But I don't know, I think it's like vulnerability the most. Like the thing that I learned was that like I kind of used to be like I've always been very vulnerable. I've never really had my walls up, but those like last years of high school, I really just closed the doors on everybody and I didn't allow anybody in. But with music, I think I'm kind of allowing people back and allowing myself to just feel like this weight is off my shoulders and I'm kind of refinding myself because I feel like I was lost for a period of my life. And with music, I think I'm kind of just discovering things about me that I think that I've just kind of like suppressed or just like hid.
Yeah, that's super relatable. And do you have anything that you want your listeners to take away from Stuck in Motion?
Ooh, I think For me, I wrote it about somebody that I was like I met this guy and I just like really like fell for this guy, but he didn't like me. Like he did not like me at all. And I was just very like, no, like this is like my guy. And I kept letting him into my life. And even when I knew I shouldn't, like even when I knew I shouldn't, I was still like reaching back out to him. And then when I was like, I'm not going to anymore, he'd reach out. And it was always like it was those moments where I was like, finally, I have the strength to just like not bring this guy into my life. He would reach out of the blue. So it was almost like, to me, it was repeating cycles out of comfortability and not having the strength to just put a pause to it, even though like you know that it's just going to be uncomfortable for a little bit. Um, I don't know. I think sometimes you're not willing to like I guess you're not willing to give up comfort sometimes for a little bit, like a little period of uncomfortability. And for me, I would say that when people listen to Stuck in Motion, hopefully people know that I think it's that beginning phase when you kind of start realizing that like you are finally honest with yourself that the situation you're in right now, you shouldn't be. You shouldn't be allowing yourself to be in it. And although stuck in motion, I think it's through the perspective of somebody that's barely figuring that out, it's still the first step. So I think when people listen to it, I hope that they kind of find a little strength if they relate to the lyrics to just, I don't know, to set their standards a little higher, to reach for bigger things, and to never give up. I think there's people that are going to love you for who you are. And you just have to like wait a little bit, you know, a little period of just being comfortable for like better things.
Yeah, that's super important. And do you face like any challenges both externally and internally as like a smaller songwriter?
I I guess so. I barely put stuff out so like this month, right? But I think so. But I think there's something beautiful about having to kind of tell everybody that like, hey, like I'm not the type of person that loves to be like, this is my song and like shove it down people's like throats. But I don't know. I guess the only thing that's a little difficult is I want to give justice and I want like for the worlds of the songs. And maybe that means not doing a music video right away so I can actually make a good music video. Or I think when it comes to like, I really like quality instead of like quantity sometimes. So I think that's why I'm like waiting to release these other songs because I don't want it to just be like, here you go. And like I worked really hard on all this, or people just feel like there could have been much more. But I don't know. I think sometimes you might feel like when you see other people succeed, it might just like trigger you sometimes. But I think I've learned to be very optimistic about seeing other people succeed and seeing other people reach certain things because I think that means that like that's possible, you know? Like maybe you thought that was impossible at some point, but somebody just opened that door up, you know? So I don't think there's anything bad about it. Maybe you just have to work 10 times harder, or sometimes I'll wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh, okay, like what am I going to post? Because I don't want to just be inauthentic, you know? But other than that, I think it's just like working harder. But I think that works, they'll make me stronger in the long run, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. This is like a funner one, but if you could collaborate with any artist, who would it be and why?
I love your Olivia Rodrigo poster in the
Thank
back
you.
so much. I don't, let me see. I have so many. Weirdly, most of the people I listen to have already passed away, which is kind of like a bummer. But I don't know. Like I love Olivia Rodrigo, but I'm also kind of like I don't know. Like I just kind of I'd rather just be like you write the song actually and I'll just like sit down and hear you sing it. But maybe let me think. I really like Harry Styles a lot. Like, I think that would be something insane because he's never really collaborated with people on a song. So I think that would even be just like, okay, like exciting. But let me think. Like, who would you say? Like, who would you collaborate with? While I think. Let me think.
Well, like my top three are like Leve, Clairo, and Viva Doobie, and it would be really cool to do that. Like I don't really sing because I don't have that good of a voice, but if I could
Mhm.
like write with them,
That's beautiful. I love that. I
yeah.
think, you know. maybe I really like Pink Pantheress right now. And I think her sound is very cool.
Yeah, she's so
I
unique.
Yeah, I would say maybe her. Like if she ever wanted to do something, even if it was like if a collaboration meant me being in the background of her music video, just like dancing around, like anything, honestly. Like I love collaborating with people, so it's just anywhere. Or like I would love if this is considered a collaboration, even though I'm so scared and actually maybe not, being Sally for role model. Maybe that would be the
That
dream.
would be a dream.
But like I'm so scared that I would fall. I just have that like when you're like I'm not gonna fall, I'm not gonna do this and like that happens. I
Yeah,
don't I'd
I
be
would be
really,
like frozen on stage.
yeah, or like they put me in a compilation of like the worst Sallys. I think I would like pass away. So,
Yeah. Okay, the last one is if you have like any advice for your younger self, what would it be and why?
ooh, okay, I love that one. I think when I was like 16, 17, that's who I would like really talk to because weirdly when I was younger, I was like never really I think I was always very, I don't know, I never really had social media or anything. So I think my insecurities or my ideas of the world or things like that weren't ever bad. But I think when I was like 16 or 17, a lot of like reality hit. So I know that like this new journey, like musically, the stuff that I wrote it about is through my like 16, 17-year-old perspective. I think for her it would be, I think sometimes we don't like in the movie Perks of Being a Wallflower, they like I think he says we we choose the love we think we deserve. And I think at that time I was very like sometimes you settle for things because you think that that's kind of like what you're worthy of. And I think when it came to love or crushes, like I never really had um a lot of crushes. I like never had a boyfriend. I never had my first kiss, like nothing. And I think the first person that was like really nice to me at a really hard period of my life was something that I was like, oh, okay, I guess it's like my husband, kind of, but it's like, no, it's not. Actually, it's just like a random guy. But I think it would be to like love yourself enough to just, I don't know, I think to just like always really love yourself. I think sometimes when you hang around the wrong types of people, you also start to think, I don't know, like their ideas, like if they think they're not worthy, you kind of will also think that. Or if certain people, like it's just, it's weird because I'm still finding that out too. So I don't know if like I even have that advice because even like, I think maybe I'm still finding that out. But maybe it would just be like to give myself more love and to kind of just say the word no. I never allowed myself to say the word no. It was always yes. So I think it would be saying the word no and like not everybody's my friend. Like I was always very like everybody's my best friend. And it's like not really, but just little things like that. But definitely that, just more self-love, more sticking up for myself and being unapologetic about it. And yeah, I think just stuff like that.